All right. It is. Thank you.
You're just kidding. Are you just kidding?
No, I'm not. We've started.
Oh,
She brought me a beverage. You're the best wife ever.
that's what you ever had.
Best wife I've ever had. Oh, man. So, welcome. Hey, Dusty. Hey, Jason. Hey, Dad. What was that? Cammy, Tom Roosh. And who else is on there today? Got some hearts flying there. Thanks for those. And let's see here. I'm gonna. Pastor Dave Barringer, Julie Claire, gonna be with you tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow night at Bethel in Lincoln Park near Detroit. And who's that? DeBella Jewelry. How are you? Nihat Grel 5. Drew Butterfield, one of my favorites right there. You're the Brown Hearts. Well, that's all right. Well, hey, welcome everybody. I'll give folks just another second here to get logged on. Trying a new format today. I'm going to share with you very quickly what my three main thoughts are, and then we'll move forward and break those down, unpack those a little bit, and also allow plenty of time for comments and thoughts there. Hey, Chris, how are you? There's Blipster Joe. How are you? Good to have you on there. Oh, Christina Buchanan, yay, glad you're on here. I was hoping Jason would be able to be on too. So if you're able to be on live, that's really exciting and really fun. Reggie Hill, how you doing? If you're able to be on live, that's really cool because I really want feedback on these. I really want your input because I'm not the expert on these. I'm just kind of facilitating the conversation. Although today I feel like I'm talking about something I do know a little bit about. Today we're going to be talking about networking. I was going to explain the format just a moment ago, so let me get back to that. I'm going to share my thoughts, my major thoughts right up front. That's for those of you who need to go. You get on, you just want to get the major thoughts and you want to go. I get that, so I want you to be able to do that. Then there's others that you want to unpack those thoughts a little bit, chew on them, and then you're going to have things that you're going to add into the conversation. If you've been on here before, if you're a Michigan youth pastor, children's pastor, or you've just been on these before with us, would you please type in hashtag Bettertogether. If you've been on these before, just type in Bettertogether, and that way we can see who's back and who's joined us before. Working on ways to improve this experience. Maybe I should introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Josh Wellborn. I am the Student Ministries Together. I'm reading and talking at the same time. I can't do that. I am the Student Ministries Director for the Michigan District of the Assemblies of God, which is a cooperative fellowship of churches, about 256 churches in the state of Michigan. And so I'm trying to facilitate a conversation with people all over the state of Michigan, but I realize there's some that are outside of Michigan. So again, if you've been on before, let's see hashtag Bettertogether. If you're here for the first time, welcome. And let's get started. So let's talk about networking. This is a subject that for years as a young guy I was real resistant to because I grew up around ministry. Bad connection on my end. It shouldn't be on my end. My Wi-Fi router's on the other side of this wall. You think it's a bad connection? Should I move to the other room? I'm going to move to the other room. I'm going to move to the other room in hopes that I've got a better connection, but I'm going to do that just for you. Do I have enough power? Yeah, I'm good. All right, so moving to the other room. So for years, I was real resistant as a young guy to the idea of networking for a couple of reasons. One, I thought the guys who were networking were schmoozers. I thought they were, hey, would you bring that bench right over here for me? I've got my hands full. I thought they were schmoozers. And then why don't we turn the light on because I'm backlit pretty harsh. Well, I'm going to sit in my chair. Can I sit in my favorite chair? I'm going to sit in my favorite chair. So thank you. My wife's helping me get adjusted here. I remember there were people in sales who were really into networking. They were always trying to sell me something, so I didn't like networking for that reason. I remember being around ministers who I felt like they just acted like they were really cool, and they were trying to out-cool each other, and I thought that was networking. And so then I thought there were people that were maybe trying to compensate for insecurities by acting really cool. And I thought that was networking. But then I realized eventually I needed help with things. There were things that people were really good at that I didn't know anything about, and I wanted their help. There were people that wanted my help. They noticed maybe something that I was good at that I enjoyed doing, and I wanted to help them. And so So all of a sudden, my shift, I noticed a lot of people are getting off and coming back on. Do we have a good connection or not? I'm going to open this door. Okay, I'm right by my Wi-Fi router, so this should be good. All right, I see some hearts, so I'm guessing somebody's got a good connection there. If you've got a bad connection, try logging off and then coming back on. I used to even, I'm going to jump to the meat of today, and then we'll let people talk. And well, I mean, you can talk at any time. You can comment at any time. I welcome that. I'm going to try not to get distracted by it, if that's okay. So where were we? So I didn't like schmoozers. I didn't like people who I thought were always just trying to take something. They were trying to get something, trying to make a sale, trying to book a service, whatever they were trying to do that I was resistant to. But what I was attracted to is people who added value. And for those who have a hard time with connection, I'm going to upload this to YouTube later, so you'll be able to check it out on YouTube. I'll make that available on the Michigan Youth Leader Network Facebook page, and you can go directly to that. So if you're having network connection troubles, I think Periscope is probably getting overwhelmed with users because it's become very popular, and they're working out some of the bugs as an app and as a company with them. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, I'll keep going, and if you're able to get it, I blame Obama too. So I'll keep going, and if you're able to watch this later, maybe that would be the best thing. If logging out and coming back in helps, then do that. So I'm gonna go to the thoughts, and then I'm gonna, for those of you that want to get the meat of today and then take it away, you can do that, and then those who want to discuss, we can do that later. I was always attracted to people who wanted to help others. I was always attracted to people who saw something in me that I could bring to the table. And so when I was a young guy in ministry, my district youth director at the time, I wasn't in the Michigan district at the time, I was in Washington State. My Washington district youth director reached out to me and said, "Hey man, you're really good at connecting with people. Can you connect some people to help do pizza at youth convention?" So my job was doing pizza at youth convention. I just always appreciated that. I valued that. So when I came to Michigan, I always wanted to connect with people. And so Jeff Kennedy was our district youth director at the time. He helped me connect, and that was a lot of fun at the different events that we've done as a Michigan district the last decade or so. So what a healthy network is not. It's not a good old boys club. It's not a place to stroke ego. It's not a place to gossip. It's not a place to conspire. It's a place to serve. It's a place to bring worth to someone else's organization or someone else's vision. It's a place where someone else's organization or someone else's vision can bring worth to you, can bring value to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. I used to even brag and say things like, "I don't get out much." Because again, I was resistant to the idea of networking early on because I saw it as a schmoozy, good old boys club type of dynamic, and I didn't want to be a part of that. And that's not that I'm so great and I'm such an idealist. It was that in my own heart, I knew that I could get sucked into that. And I didn't want to be sucked into that. So I would, focus. I remember specifically being in Fenton, Michigan at the Freedom Center. Really loved serving there. That was a great, fun season of ministry with Pastor Jim Wiegand and Jason McKay and some others there. And I remember saying when I was in Fenton, which is a town of about 12,000, I would even say, almost boastfully, I don't get out much. And I wanted to prove to myself, to others, that I really was focused on the calling that God had for me. And it was a sincere desire, but you always kind of wonder if your own heart is being insecure. You always kind of wonder if your own motives, you always kind of even question your own motives. And Proverbs talks about that. And I didn't want, so I would say, I don't get out much, just to kind of prove to others and to myself that I really am focused on what God has for me. And sometimes that did come maybe from a place of insecurity and sometimes not. But I realized over time that I wanted to be connected to people. I did want to get out, not to ignore my mission, not to ignore my post or my ministry, but to just connect with others, again, to add value to them and for them to add value to me. So 3 things I'll mention them briefly, and then I'll unpack each one at a time. So the three things are this: the three reasons you should be networking. One is really this belief. It's more than just a hashtag for me. It really is a belief that we are better together. We add value to one another. We bring things out in each other that maybe we didn't even know we had, and so we're better together. I want to unpack that one a little bit more, because somebody actually yesterday said, "Josh, I've heard you say better together a lot." This was a youth pastor. Said, "I've heard you say this a lot. What does that mean? How are we better together?" I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. Number two, you need to establish your reputation. You are going to have a reputation no matter what. People are going to know you for something, and you need to be able to have some say in what that reputation is. My wife just texted me and said it's freezing up on her end. I don't know what's going on. Here, let me try this. What if I turn off Wi-Fi? So now I'm just using raw data to stream to you. If this is not better, then I'm not sure what else to do. It's better? So our Wi-Fi stinks here. My apologies. All right, so I see the brown hearts, Dad. I'm using raw data here. I hope that's okay. Better? Wow. Okay, so it is my Wi-Fi. So we got to call Comcast and get that fixed. Oh, wow. It's better for everybody. Okay. Well, then my apologies, you guys. I didn't realize my Wi-Fi at my house was so poor. All right. Hey, Jeff Westheim just came back on. All right. Well, then just to recap, just real briefly, the three reasons you should be networking. One, the belief that we're better together. Two, you need to establish your reputation, because you're going to have your reputation. Jesus, take the wheel. Come on. You're going to have a reputation one way or another. You may as well jump in and get to know people so that they can know you. You know, you've heard the expression, if you fail at relationship, you fail. I think that's from Jeannie Mayo. In ministry, if you fail at relationship, you fail. If you fail at relationship with other ministers, then, you know, we're going to be living in eternity together, ruling and reigning. Wouldn't it be nice if we knew each other? Or wouldn't it be better if we liked each other? So establishing your reputation. Then the third thing I have today, and I know there's maybe some others that hopefully you'll think of. The third thing today is the whole idea of the principle of the harvest. Jason Harvester Persinger just joined us, so I know he believes in the principle of the harvest. So let's unpack these just one at a time. I'm not going to go a real long time. I know I've kind of rambled around messing with the Wi-Fi. I'll try and stay on point here. The belief that we're better together. We can help each other out. I know I've said that many times, but we do want to help each other out. I want to help others. People want to help me, and that's the way it should be, especially in the body of Christ. Ideas, creativity, help, and encouragement. Even just yesterday, I had some great ideas that were pitched to me from a couple of different youth pastors about a big event that we do called our District Youth Convention. Ways to improve that are coming my way and getting sent into the system, and I'm diverting them to the proper channels, and we're improving a major event that teenagers from all over the state of Michigan come to simply by being together. We're better together because we can improve each other. In fact, as we were talking, one youth pastor, and this is an idea I'll throw out there for youth pastors, he was asking about someone that was nearby him, a youth pastor that wanted to come to youth convention but didn't think he had enough students to be able to rent hotel rooms and rent a vehicle and things like that. And I said, why don't you just bring him with you, add him to your group? Then you're not just adding him, you're adding the other people. That's going to help your budget. And then you guys are going to have a great time forming that relationship. And it's his first time to youth convention, so make sure he has a good experience. And so just little ideas like that come up when we're together. When relationships exist, and this is a quotable, you're going to want to write this one down. I don't know if I got this somewhere or just wrote it down in my notes today. Where relationships exist, doing a favor, doing a solid for somebody becomes a pleasure. Isn't it a pleasure to do something for someone you like? Like when someone you like needs a favor, don't you like helping them? Even if it's a time that's inconvenient for you, or it requires something, or requires giving. Man, I like doing things for certain people. There's certain people that when they text me, I'm like, man, I'm glad they need something because I want to help them because they're just such a blessing in my life. And it all flows from a relationship. You're better together. Hey, thanks for the boom there. We're better together because when we form a relationship, we start helping each other and I'm trying not to look at the comments, but these are good. So when relationships exist, doing favors is a pleasure. Here's another one why we're better together. You have a genius that someone else needs. I'm a firm believer that God gives everybody a built-in genius. Some people are called geniuses because they score high on an academic scale that's been set by someone, sometime, somewhere. And they're an academic genius. But you are a genius with something. You're really good at something. I really believe that everybody's really good at something. As a youth pastor, I love the students with ADD, because the students with ADD, not only are they just fun and entertaining, but they actually, they haven't done well academically usually, but they have something. They're probably a creative genius. They might be an amazing strategic athletic genius. Yes, ADHD represent. So you have a genius that someone else needs. That's why we're better together, and that's why you need to reach out relationally to people. And then here's another thing. You also have a weakness that needs someone else's genius. I like connecting to people who are highly creative because I like to be highly creative. But I like connecting to people who are highly administrative because I'm not really good at being highly administrative. I like having people on my team who are highly organized. They like numbers. They like Excel spreadsheets. They like flowcharts. I love connecting with people like that because those are my areas of weakness. I don't love doing those things myself, but I love having people that thrive in that because, one, they can help me do it better myself. But then if they're on my team, they can take a load off of me and do some things that maybe require me more energy. Yeah, I know. Man, as a youth pastor, how many times do you love it when where someone on your team is administrative, or a mom who's administrative? And here's the thing. For those of us who are highly relational and we like being creative, a lot of times those people we don't make a good first impression with because they're suspicious of us. Because the people that are high choleric personalities, they're high administrators, they're often suspicious of those of us that are creative and people, and we like to be personable. But then once we build that bridge, once we network with them, all of a sudden we realize they have strengths that'll make our ministries better, make our teams better, make our organization better. So those last two things I felt like were really important. I just want to say them one more time. You have a genius that someone else needs, and you have a weakness that is someone else's genius. So you need to connect with somebody. You need to connect with people, and they will help you with that. I'm working on a talk called The 7 Deadly Sins of Networking, because some of you that are thinkers, you're already one step ahead of me, and you're going, well, Josh, are you saying we should just network to manipulate and to get what we need? No. Because that's where we're going to get into the 7 deadly sins. I'm not going to do those today, but that's just a preview of, maybe we'll do that one next week. A couple of scripture verses that came to mind when I was thinking and considering this. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 12. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two standing back to back can conquer. And 3 are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken. So I know that's a verse you're probably familiar with, but I love that picture of being in battle and having someone that has your back. And I love that band of brothers concept where you are watching out for the guy next to you and the guy next to you is watching out for you. We're better together. We're better when we're networked. Galatians 6:10, therefore, whenever we have opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those who are in the family of faith. Again, networking is about what you can do for others, what you can do to serve others. What genius do you have that others need to tap into? Let's unpack number 2. And number 2 is establish your reputation. Now, this one might need a little bit of explanation. You'll find that everybody you know has some kind of reputation. I mean, think about that for just a second. Everybody you work with, everybody you do ministry with, everybody in your section, everybody in your church, everybody you know has some kind of a reputation. Hopefully these are like good things that you're thinking of right now. I'm sure there are things that are maybe on the negative side. And I'm not trying to bring emphasis to negative things, but if you just think about that. And so here's a couple thoughts to unpack that one for you. It will happen whether you like it or not. So you might as well take the initiative. Now, how does this play out? I really enjoy district and sectional gatherings within the Assemblies of God. I'm just going to admit that. And it's really funny to me because some people dread them. They think about the boring business meetings. They think about, people at odds with different opinions on different things. Well, personally, I just love being in the lobby and talking to people. I love seeing youth pastors, the people that do what I do, people that have the same kind of, challenges and problems and creative obstacles that I have. I love connecting with those people. So I love going to those things. I love when I see people that are excited to see me. It's fun, isn't it? Don't you enjoy it when you see people that are excited to see you? If you run a youth service, You probably have trained your team, your leaders, your volunteers, or you yourself. If you're your only leader, you yourself probably make it a point to get excited to see students when they walk in. Well, wouldn't it be great to be on the receiving end of that? And one of the ways that you can be on the receiving end of that is by reaching out to others. So you show up at these district events, you show up at these sectional events, you go, man, nobody knows me. I don't want to be at these. My friends aren't here. Well, start knowing other people. Nobody knows your name? Well, learn other people's names. Call them by name. To this day, there are so many people that I know their name that they don't know my name. And every time I say hi to them and I know their name and they don't know mine, I just kind of laugh a little bit. Now, the reverse is also true. It's hard to remember names I know. And there's always going to be people that you don't remember their name and you feel bad about that. And you can work on learning names and things like that. But I'm talking about showing initiative to reach out, establish your reputation as someone who cares about other people. Ask questions. Ask questions about their personal life, about spouses, about their ministry. I know you too. And so establish your reputation. Establish your reputation as a giver, one who can help out. Maybe someone needs to borrow what you have. Maybe someone needs some advice. Maybe someone just needs you to help them move. Man, how many times have I helped people move? Which is leading to my third point. But let me cover number 2 real quickly. Establish your reputation as one who is interested in helping others. Establish a reputation by defining your area of expertise and your personal strengths. If you're a music person, if you're a video person, if you're a graphic design person, man, those people are gold when it comes to running a youth ministry or a children's ministry. As a pastor, you're always looking for those kinds of people. If you're one of those people, now I'm not saying you should offer your services free of charge to everyone that you're trying to network with. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But you will have thoughts for them on how to recruit those kind of people, on how to help those kind of people, and especially to communicate with those kind of people. Because what I've discovered is that people who are highly administrative, they don't always communicate well with those who are creative, music, media types. And so those are some thoughts for you. So number 3, let's unpack this one. The principle of the harvest. You might remember a few years ago, the movie Pay It Forward comes out and the whole world is like, what a great concept. People that aren't, believers or people who have no, faith base to go on with, be like, man, if there were a religion based around that, I'd be into that. Pay it forward. It works. You know what? Hollywood didn't come up with the pay it forward principle. That's a biblical principle. Jesus was all about it. He didn't call it pay it forward, but you see the principle of the harvest throughout Scripture, going all the way to the Old Testament and all the way through. If you've ever studied the principle of the harvest, you'll find it in places like Galatians 6, Luke chapter 6. Galatians 6 says this, do not be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You always harvest what you plant. Luke chapter 6 says this, and this is a great verse. This actually goes right in with the reason you should be networking. If I could encompass it into one phrase, I would just take it straight from Luke chapter 6, verse 38. It says this, give away your life. You'll find life given back. But not merely given back with bonus and blessing. And that really encapsulates the reason you should be networking with people. Give your life away. You'll find that it's given back to you with bonus and blessing. You can't outgive the principle of the harvest, and you can't outgive what God wants to do in your life and in the lives of others. So the principle of the harvest, do for someone in need, and someday someone will do for you when you are in need. Something that's important to understand about the principle of the harvest is the amount you sow determines the amount you reap. So those are my thoughts today. I've tried to look at some of the comments as they've come in, but I've also tried not to be like an ADD speaker. I've been trying to stay on my little talk points so that we can, again, give those to those of you that are anxious to get those and then move on with your day. But for those watching today, I would love to hear from you. What are some other ideas that you think of? What are some other ways that you think of? Maybe ways to network with people? What's the best way to network with people in your area? Well, man, I appreciate you calling it wisdom. This has come from other leaders that I've taken it from. It's come from, obviously, from the Word of God, and I'm just glad to be able to facilitate it. What does this say? Don't celebrate ADD in one breath and denounce us in the next. Did I denounce you? I didn't mean to say that. All I meant to say is that ADD has a hidden genius. I can be ADD with some of the best of them, Tom, although you're pretty impressive. If you are a youth pastor in Michigan, and you should reach out to your sectional youth director. I know, for instance, I'll just use one as an example, Matt Vanderstein out in New Baltimore. If you're in the Metro East section, he's having a gathering on, it looks like I don't have a neck. There's some ADD for you. He's having a gathering on October 8th. And so if you're not sure what your section is, email me. I am Jay Wellborn. You can also message me on any of my social media. Get out of your office and denomination and get some coffee with someone. That's so good, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to somebody. That's great advice. Reach out to somebody. It is especially the interdenominational dynamic. I love it. I love it. Take initiative. Don't wait for others to reach out to you. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Metro, Middle, Detroit. Metro. We don't have anybody in Metro, but we may very, very soon. So we will have an announcement soon. Yeah, get out of. One of my favorite groups that I used to meet with when I lived near Flint was a group that met every Thursday morning in Flint at the Barnes and Noble, and we had Baptists and we had Methodists and we had a Catholic who came. And we had a lot of AG guys. In fact, we eventually made it our sectional gathering, and we loved it. I'm still in touch with those guys. In fact, one of them had me come speak at his non-denominational retreat last year, and so that was a lot of fun. Another guy ended up moving to Florida, and now he's one of my favorite people to hang out with when I go to Orlando. I'm in the Jeannie Mayo cadre. There's my cadre ring. That's an interdenominational group. That one costs some money to be in, but gosh, I got to tell you, it is worth it. And I love connecting with the guys outside of my denomination there. But it doesn't have to be that difficult. Like Dave said, go buy somebody coffee. And yeah, you should offer. It's worth your investment. You know, it might cost you $10 to buy coffee, but it's just like the law of the harvest. You'll invest that $10, but you'll get a much bigger return by investing in, cadre, by investing in a relationship. Because again, if we fail at relationship, we fail. It's true in youth service. It's true in networking. It's true as you're establishing and building your team. I had an experience not too long ago where I met a new, I don't know if he was new, but I met a youth pastor for the first time. And he acted the way a lot of students act when they come to my youth ministry for the first time. Very quiet, kind of looked at me like, why are you talking to me? I'll just say it, very awkward. And I thought, man, he would hate it, and probably does hate it, because all of us hate it. Don't you hate it when there's a kid that comes into your youth group and you try and talk to them and they just kind of look at you like suspicious, like, what's your deal? I mean, hopefully, if you've been in youth ministry long enough, you've probably figured out that's just the way it's going to be. You can push past it. But this was a youth pastor acting this way, and I thought, man, I wonder if he knows that he's coming across just like these students who show up and give you the weird look. And I thought if he knew it, he wouldn't be that way. Well, you know what? My advice from that experience is don't be that way. Like, reach out to people, open up to people, and again, you'll find that you'll establish some meaningful relationships that will add value to you personally, to your team, to your ministry. So, all right, I don't see any comments flying on there or questions. I'm going to put this up on YouTube, put it on the Michigan. If you're a Michigan youth pastor, if you're not already on or a youth leader, if you're not already on the Michigan Youth Leader Network on Facebook, it's a secret group. That's the name that Facebook uses, not me. Would love to add you to that. Message me and I'll add you to that if you're a youth leader. If not, that's all for me. Thanks for joining. And I'll see you, hopefully I'll see you at District Youth Convention. That's happening in November. If you need details on that, email me. I never gave out my email earlier. It's jwellborn@aogmi.org. jwellborn@aogmi.org. Yes, I'm going to post the video on the Facebook page. You're not on that group, Reggie? I'll add you. In fact, yeah, I'll add you to that group. Or you can just message me right now if you want to add it to that group. Yes, Julie, I'll see you tomorrow. I saw that just a minute ago. Adding Reggie Hill now. Man, I had so much fun at your church the other night, Reggie, at Grand Rapids First. They do family fun night, I think once a month or once a quarter there in your youth facility. That was a blast. Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate it. I'm glad. I'm really. This is fun for me to be able to facilitate this. And as I said, I recognize that I'm not the expert on all of this. That's why I love the Periscope platform, because then it gives people. Yeah, once a month, cool, love it. It gives people a chance to comment in. You like my ceiling? You know what? I'm sorry that you had to look at the ceiling the whole time. It's because I was trying to move to get a better signal. I'm actually sitting in this really cool chair that my wife recovered, and I know I want to come hang out with you guys again. My wife recovered it, made it look sweet. We found it at a garage sale for like $15, and she made it look like an Art Van premium piece. Little plug there for Art Van. All right, adding you, Reggie. Anybody else? Crown molding? Yeah, we're pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. All right, see you guys later. Reggie Hill, you are added to the Michigan Youth Ministry Network group. And if anybody else wants to be added to that, message me, and I'll get you on that. All right, brother. Catch you later.